Orlando's sinkhole crisis is about to get a lot worse, and Disney World is caught directly in the path. Beneath the happiest place on Earth, beneath the shopping malls and housing developments, beneath every street and foundation, sits something that is slowly eating Florida from the inside out. Limestone that is dissolving, creating massive underground voids that can swallow homes whole without warning. We are not talking about isolated sinkholes anymore. We are talking about a geological catastrophe unfolding in real time, with thousands of homes already condemned and the state's insurance system on the verge of collapse. Central Florida sits on what geologists call karst terrain. It's a geological loaded gun. Millions of years ago, when Florida lay beneath a shallow, warm sea, dead marine organisms, shells, corals, skeletons, compressed into thick beds of limestone. That limestone is porous, full of tiny passages where water can seep through. And here's what they don't tell you: that acidic rainwater, acidic because it absorbs carbon dioxide from soil, reacts with limestone the same way vinegar reacts with an eggshell. Slow, relentless dissolution. Over millions of years, these passages became tunnels. Tunnels became caverns. Caverns became massive underground void networks. Florida is literally Swiss cheese. And when those voids collapse, entire neighborhoods disappear. Orlando and Central Florida sit in what researchers call Sinkhole Alley. Not a nickname, a geological fact. The region stretches from Tampa all the way northeast to Daytona, running directly through Orange County, the heart of Disney World, the Universal Studios complex, and a booming residential sprawl of hundreds of thousands of families. The Floridan Aquifer System, a colossal underground network of caves and porous limestone that spans 100,000 square miles, produces 1.2 trillion gallons of water annually. That water constantly moves through the limestone, constantly dissolving it. The aquifer doesn't just supply drinking water, it's the backbone of Florida's entire geological existence, and it's destabilizing everything built on top. Arthur B. Tahansky, hydrologist with the U.S. Geological Survey, documented the mechanism in his landmark 1999 study, Sinkholes, West Central Florida. His research showed that seasonal fluctuations in water levels trigger accelerated dissolution. During the wet season, when water tables rise, pressure inside caverns increases. During the dry season, when groundwater levels drop, the cavern roofs lose support and can fail suddenly. The timing is brutal. Agricultural pumping, winter crop irrigation in particular, creates rapid drawdowns that destabilize these voids. A sinkhole can form in hours. A home can be swallowed in a single night. The numbers tell a horrifying story. Between 2006 and 2010 alone, Florida recorded almost 25,000 sinkhole insurance claims. That's one claim every 8 hours for 5 straight years. Recent data from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection documents. Thousands of subsidence incidents recorded every year. In 2017, a massive sinkhole opened in Lake Paget Estates in Land O'Lakes, Pasco County. It measured 260 feet across at its widest point and reached depths of 52 feet. The collapse consumed 2 entire homes instantly. Homes near the sinkhole cracked, shifted, became structurally compromised. The county condemned 7 homes. Families watched their property values plummet. Their mortgages didn't. Some families hired engineers, fought back, and eventually got their homes uncondemned, but only after signing waivers releasing the county from liability. They could move back in, but the county no longer took responsibility when the ground opened again. Here's what nobody talks about: the sinkhole map. Florida's Department of Environmental Protection maintains an active subsidence incident reporting system. When you pull up those maps and look at Orange County, where Disney World, Universal, and hundreds of neighborhoods sit, you see a constellation of dots. Not a handful, not a dozen. Hundreds of recorded sinkhole incidents, Some are minor ground subsidences, others are catastrophic collapses. But the pattern is undeniable. The risk isn't dispersed. It's concentrated in central Florida, and that concentration is growing. Dr. Boo Hyun Nam, an associate professor of civil, environmental, and construction engineering at the University of Central Florida and director of the Sinkhole and Subsidence Laboratory, has spent his career trying to develop predictive models. His research has shown that sinkholes can be preceded by subtle ground movement, subsidence measured in inches that predates collapse by weeks or months. The problem? Most people don't detect that movement until it's catastrophic. Disney World itself sits on this ticking bomb. The resort encompasses 28,000 acres of karst terrain, thin clay layers sitting directly above holy limestone. Disney's own engineers have confirmed the presence of sinkholes on the property. Imagineer Marty Sklar revealed years ago that a massive void was discovered between Future World and World Showcase. Disney's solution was ingenious but telling. They converted the void into a lagoon. They're literally living with sinkholes, engineering around them, turning geological hazards into theme park attractions. That's the only option when you've already invested billions in construction. But Disney has resources. Most homeowners don't. And if Disney's engineers can find major sinkholes on their property, what does that tell you about the properties surrounding the resort? The insurance crisis is where this becomes a financial apocalypse. By Florida law, all residential property insurance policies must include catastrophic ground cover collapse coverage. But, and this is the killer, most sinkhole damage doesn't meet the catastrophic threshold. CGCC applies only under narrow conditions: abrupt collapse, visible surface depression, structural damage, including foundation damage, and government condemnation or evacuation order. A sinkhole that damages a pool, cracks a foundation, or makes a home uninhabitable but doesn't trigger all four conditions, that's not covered. Insurance companies have made sinkhole coverage optional. And in certain counties, adding sinkhole coverage costs more than the base insurance policy. Homeowners face deductibles between 1% and 10% of the dwelling's value. A $400,000 home with a 10% sinkhole deductible means the owner pays $40,000 before insurance kicks in. Most families can't absorb that. And if that just opened the ground beneath your assumptions, every subscriber is automatically entered in our monthly giveaway for a branded hoodie. Details in the description. The state-level response has been glacial. Citizens Property Insurance Corporation, the state's insurer of last resort, has processed more than 15,000 sinkhole-related claims since 2006. That's the institutional count. The real number, accounting for unreported incidents and uninsured losses, is vastly higher. Florida's Department of Environmental Protection maintains the subsidence database, but resources for monitoring and mitigation are fractional. The agency processes incident reports, but the pace of sinkhole formation outpaces prevention measures. It's a reactive system in a proactive crisis. Jonathan Arthur, PhD, Florida state geologist, has testified before Congress about the scope of the problem, noting that tens of thousands of sinkholes exist throughout the state, and development expansion increases the likelihood of triggering new collapses. The state knows. The geologists know. But regulatory response moves at the pace of bureaucracy, not geology. Homeowners caught in the crosshairs describe a nightmare landscape of financial obliteration. A property that was worth $300,000 becomes worth $50,000 overnight once a sinkhole opens nearby. Insurance becomes impossible to obtain. Banks won't refinance. The property becomes unmortgageable. Families are trapped. They can't sell without massive losses. They can't refinance. They can't leave. Some attempt repairs, grouting voids, reinforcing foundations, at costs that exceed the property's remaining value. Others simply abandon their homes and absorb the financial catastrophe. The emotional toll is immense, but the financial toll is systematic and irreversible. Thousands of families across Central Florida have experienced this exact scenario. The number of functionally condemned homes that are still standing but have been abandoned by insurers, rendered unmortgageable, and devalued by 80 to 90%, likely exceeds the official count of formally condemned structures. The geological clock is accelerating. Climate change is intensifying rainfall patterns in Florida, increasing water infiltration into the aquifer. This increased flow through the karst system accelerates limestone dissolution. Simultaneously, urban development compacts clay layers and increases impervious surfaces like concrete, which prevents natural rainwater infiltration and instead funnels massive volumes of water directly into aquifer recharge zones. Development paradoxically accelerates subsidence beneath developed areas while destabilizing the groundwater system. Urban expansion in Central Florida hasn't slowed. If anything, it's intensifying. More homes, more shopping centers, more resorts. All built on dissolving limestone, all amplifying the problem they're built to avoid. Winter Park remains the symbolic epicenter of Florida's sinkhole catastrophe. On May 9, 1981, a massive collapse opened at the corner of Fairbanks and Denning. The sinkhole grew to 320 feet across and 90 feet deep. It swallowed a 3-bedroom home, 5 Porsches, half of a city swimming pool, and sent shockwaves through the entire state. Nearly 250,000 cubic yards of earth vanished. Engineers described it as the largest sinkhole event witnessed by man as a result of natural geological reasons. The response was massive. Engineers filled the void with dirt and concrete, stabilized the collapse, and in time, water collected in the stabilized hole, creating Lake Rose, named in honor of May Rose Williams, whose home vanished. Lake Rose became a landmark. It became nature's monument to geological catastrophe. But here's what matters. That sinkhole didn't solve anything. It was an isolated catastrophe in an ongoing crisis. In 2013, another sinkhole opened in Winter Park and swallowed a swimming pool. The pattern repeats. The ground continues to dissolve. The deeper disaster is invisibility. Sinkholes don't announce themselves. A home can sit on stable-appearing ground for decades. Then, during one wet season when the water table rises, a cavern roof fails. Or during one dry season when water levels drop. Or after intense rainfall triggers sudden recharge. The failure point is unknowable. Dr. Nam's research at UCF's Sinkhole and Subsidence Laboratory has shown that some sinkholes are preceded by subsidence, detectable ground movement. But detecting that movement requires ground-penetrating radar, precision surveying equipment, or geotechnical investigation. Most homeowners never scan their property. They don't know about subsidence until a crack appears in the foundation. By then, the void is already forming. By then, it's often too late. Picture this. You're a homeowner in Orange County, outside Orlando. Your home was built in 1995 on a lot that looked solid. You've paid 30 years of mortgage payments. Your home is worth $350,000. You have a family. You have roots. Then one morning, you notice a crack in the living room wall. Not a normal settlement crack, a serious displacement. You call a foundation engineer. He brings equipment, does some tests, and tells you the property is experiencing active ground subsidence. He advises you to contact the county. The county sends an inspector. The inspector recommends a geological survey. The survey confirms sinkhole risk. The county doesn't condemn, not yet, but puts the property on a watch list. Your insurance company sees the report. They cancel coverage. You try to find new insurance. Every carrier sees the subsidence report and denies you. The property becomes uninsurable. Your bank sees that it's uninsurable and demands you obtain coverage or they'll foreclose. You're trapped. You can't sell because buyers require insurance. You can't refinance because the property is uninsurable. You're paying a mortgage on a house you can't live in and can't sell. That's not hypothetical. That's the lived experience of hundreds, possibly thousands of Central Florida families right now. The state's sinkhole insurance system is designed to fail. When citizens' property insurance grows too large, when too many uninsurable properties are forced into the state insurer, the system experiences a surcharge. Every licensed insurer in Florida must contribute to pay claims handling organization assessments. When claims handling organizations process too many sinkhole claims, the cost is socialized across all Florida insurers. That cost gets passed to all policyholders. Every Florida homeowner with homeowner's insurance pays a hidden tax that subsidizes the sinkhole crisis. The more sinkholes form, the higher the surcharge, the higher everyone's insurance premiums. It's a spiral. Increased premiums make homeowners cheaper to drop out risk pools. Insurers exit the Florida market because the risk premium can't justify operations. As insurers exit, Citizens grows. As Citizens grows, assessments increase. As assessments increase, premiums increase again. The cycle accelerates. Disney World's situation is particularly revealing. Disney can afford engineers, sophisticated monitoring equipment, and preemptive remediation. Disney can build around sinkholes, adapt infrastructure, and absorb costs. Most of Florida can't. But Disney's very existence in the sinkhole zone and the necessity of ongoing sinkhole management on Disney property is a statement about the risk. Disney isn't somewhere safe. Disney is somewhere that's learned to live with geological catastrophe through engineering sophistication and unlimited budget. Replace Disney's resources with the median family's resources. That homeowner can't hire $2 million engineering teams to explore their property. That homeowner can't reroute underground infrastructure around sinkholes. That homeowner lives at the mercy of the karst. The Florida Geological Survey and institutions like UCF's Sinkhole and Subsidence Laboratory continue research into prediction and early detection. But the research pace lags the problem pace. Every year, more subdivisions are built on unmapped karst. Every year, more groundwater is pumped for agriculture and industry. Every year, climate patterns intensify rainfall events that accelerate aquifer recharge and sinkhole formation. The geological response time is measured in millions of years. The human response time is measured in budget cycles. Those two timescales are incompatible. We're building permanent infrastructure on actively collapsing geology, and we're hoping the collapse follows a schedule that permits adaptation. That hope is not a strategy. The condemnation numbers are climbing. In 2017, 7 homes were condemned in Land O'Lakes. In 2024 and 2025, that figure has repeated and intensified across multiple counties. The real number of homes that are functionally condemned, homes rendered uninsurable, unmortgageable, and unsellable, is far higher. Some estimates suggest thousands. The official count may only capture homes that have experienced catastrophic structural failure. The wider count includes homes in subsidence zones, homes with foundation damage that doesn't meet the catastrophic threshold, homes that insurance companies have strategically denied in order to preserve profits. When you count all of these categories, the figure approaches numbers that seem implausibly high. But remember, Florida records 25,000 sinkhole insurance claims in a 5-year period. That's a baseline. Extrapolate forward. The trajectory becomes apparent. The crisis is fundamentally geological and fundamentally political. The geology is beyond human control. The karst will continue to dissolve. The aquifer will continue to move. The sinkholes will continue to form. The politics determines whether people are informed of the risk, whether properties are evaluated before sale, whether insurance is accessible and affordable, whether remediation is funded, whether development is restricted in the highest risk zones. Florida's politics have consistently chosen development over restriction, chosen profitability over precaution, chosen short-term real estate expansion over long-term geological stability. That's not a judgment. It's an observation of policy outcomes. And now, thousands of families are experiencing the consequences. Families who were never told they were building on a sinkhole zone. Families who relied on regulators to protect them. Families who followed all the rules and still lost everything. The most haunting question is still unanswered. How many properties in Central Florida are currently sitting above active void spaces that haven't yet collapsed? Dr. Bu Hyun-nam's research suggests that subsidence precedes most collapses, but that subsidence is often undetected for months or years. How many undetected subsidence areas exist in Orange County right now? How many in Osceola County? How many in the neighborhoods surrounding Disney World, Universal, and the downtown districts of Orlando, Winter Park, and Maitland? The only way to know would be to conduct systematic ground-penetrating radar surveys of every single property. No one has the resources to do that. No one will. So we wait. We watch the maps. We see new sinkhole incidents reported weekly. And we accept that the next catastrophic collapse could happen anywhere, anytime, to any property, with no warning. Florida's sinkhole crisis is a slow-motion geological catastrophe happening faster than society's ability to respond. It's a crisis with deep geological roots, limestone dissolution that's been occurring for millions of years. It's a crisis accelerated by human choices, development, groundwater pumping, climate change, insurance system failures, and it's a crisis that's still spreading. More sinkholes will form, more homes will be condemned, more families will lose everything. Disney World will remain engineered, insured, and prepared. But thousands of ordinary families in Central Florida are on that same unstable karst, without Disney's resources, without Disney's engineers, and without any real protection from the ground that's slowly dissolving beneath their homes. When the ground beneath the most magical place on Earth can open without warning, grab your free disaster preparedness toolkit. The link is in the description.